I've been sitting in Herman Miller chairs for years. I love their high-end design and the way they feel really solid and well built. I also love all of the unique technology they use, like the 8Z pellicle mesh on the Aeron and the pixelated support system on the Embody. It is really hard to beat the overall quality and the 12-year guarantee a Herman Miller chair offers. They're expensive though, and with the chairs being so different from one another, I would have had a really hard time picking my favorite Herman Miller chair without getting a chance to use them all and compare them all side by side. The first Herman Miller chair I ever used for an extended period of time was the Aeron Remastered. From a build quality standpoint, it's top-notch. The chair looks super clean with its modern design and feels like a really well-built chair. The recline function is simply amazing. It is one of my favorite features on any office chair. It is so smooth and so easy to do that I find myself rocking back and forth when using the Aeron more so than any other chair. I would highly recommend going with the fully adjustable arm package. This is one of my favorite arm packages on any chair I've used. You get height, depth, and pivot adjustments, and they all offer massive ranges. This allows me to pull the chair all the way up to my desk while still being able to use the arms in a variety of working positions. The arm pads may be the best part though. They're some of the softest arm pads I've used, which makes them super comfortable. Another upgrade I would highly recommend is the Posture Fit SL lumbar support. This is one of the most unique lumbar systems I've used because it covers such a large vertical area on my back. Very few support systems go as low as the Posture Fit SL. I do not find it to be too intrusive, and I can definitely feel that it is very supportive. I like the 8Z pellicle mesh on the backrest. It is super breathable, offers good comfort, and its elasticity is unmatched. While I love the mesh, I am not a fan of the backrest frame. I really like to stretch and move around while I'm working, and the Aeron doesn't really allow for me to do that. The frame is just super rigid and can oftentimes be uncomfortable when I lean up against it. The seat has always been the deal breaker for me on the Aeron being a daily driver. The hard edge with the bucket-like side bolsters are not a good design for my sitting style of moving around and stretching frequently when in the chair. There are times that I can feel the front edge on the back of my legs if I pull them back towards the base, and because there is no seat depth adjustment, I cannot fix this problem. I also find the mesh seat to be a bit too firm for my taste, so overall I'm just not a fan of the seat on the Aeron. The Aeron is super expensive, with the fully loaded version being over $1,600 now, and while I'm not a fan of the seat, I do still feel that this is the best all-mesh chair currently on the market. The next Herman Miller chair I got a chance to test was the Mirra 2. I found the Mirra 2 to be a really interesting chair because it offers a lot of advantages over the Aeron, but it comes in for about $400 less when you get it fully loaded. It still has a really high-end build, but doesn't quite have the same level of looks as the Aeron. It does have more functionality though, adding width adjustment for the arms, two-way adjustable lumbar support, and a flex front seat depth adjustment. Another bonus is that you get the same high level of recline on the Mirra 2 as you do with the Aeron chair. It is still breathable and offers a bit more flexibility than the Aeron frame, but I found the hard plastic to be less comfortable than the pellicle mesh. The Aeron has a really unique lumbar system, but the Mirra 2 system is also very impressive and gives you much more control over your lumbar than the Aeron does. Not only do you get a massive height adjustment range, but you can adjust the tension individually on each side of your back. This is a very cool feature, so I would highly recommend this upgrade. The fully adjustable arms are another upgrade I would recommend. This gives you four-way adjustment, and the arm pads are soft like the Aeron, so they are really comfortable to use, but they do kind of have this awkward forward sloping shape. They're designed this way to make it easier to pull up to your desk for tasking, but I would prefer a little less slopey design. My biggest complaint with the arms though is the width dimensions. Even though they have width adjustment, they are still really wide. They are too wide for me to use them comfortably, and I'm 5'9". The seat on the Mirra 2 is not my favorite, but I do think it is an improvement to the Aeron. It still has a hard edge, but goes away from the bucket-like side bolsters. Herman Miller also added a flex front, giving you seat depth adjustment, which is one of the biggest weaknesses of the Aeron. The Embody is a chair that I really like and do mix in as my daily driver. It has a very similar feel to the Aeron and Mirra 2 when it comes to the recline, but almost everything else about the chair is going to be quite different. The Embody uses a pixelated support system for the seat and back. It is basically just a bunch of flexible nodes that will move to support you while using the chair. I really like this system, and it isn't found on any other chairs that I've seen. I prefer the seat on the Embody much more than the Aeron or Mirra 2. It does not have a ton of padding, but I find that the pixelated system makes it feel much softer than the other two options. I also like that the seat does not have any hard edges and has some flexibility to promote some movement. One thing to think about is that there are times that I can feel the individual nodes when shifting around in the chair. This doesn't bother me a ton, but it could be an issue for some of you. I think the idea behind the seat depth adjustment is a good one, and it does what it's intended to do, but I think the adjustment just feels a bit awkward for such a high-end chair. The armrests on the Embody are often described by people as clunky. I would tend to agree with this sentiment. They are very large, and the width adjustment is not as smooth as most arm width adjustments. With that said, I really like the arms on the Embody. I like that they are large and flat. I also find them to be soft enough to be comfortable for long hours of use. They're not quite as squishy as the Aeron or Mirra, but they're close. They don't have depth or pivot adjustment, but I did not find that to be a problem because the height and width ranges are so massive and the pads themselves are large enough to use in a ton of different working positions. The backrest is probably the biggest wow factor on the Embody and my favorite part about the chair. The Embody goes in the opposite direction of the rigid frame designs and offers one of the most flexible backs that I've ever used. The skinny shape combined with a ridiculous amount of flexibility gives you an incredible range of movement, which I love about the Embody. The one miss with the Embody's backrest is the lack of an adjustable lumbar system. The lumbar on the Embody is pretty pronounced and specific to one area of the back. I would like if it had some way to ensure that it was properly positioned, but that's going to be a downside you get with the chair. The Lino is the first lower priced chair I got a chance to use from Herman Miller. I say lower priced in quotes because it's still around an $800 chair when you get it fully loaded. This is an expensive chair, but only about half the price of an Aeron or an Embody. The Lino is a good overall chair. It is well built, has a nice adjustment package, and offers average comfort. I'm not super impressed with the seat, it's just a little too firm for my preference. The backrest is supportive, and I like the lumbar addition, but the mesh is lower quality than the Aeron, and the hard frame poses the same issues as the Aeron, but worse because it's a smaller frame, so you can feel it much more easily than on the Aeron chair. The Lino doesn't have the amazing rocking like the previous three models, but it does have a nice synchro tilt mech and a smooth recline that I've found to be better than most chairs with the synchro tilt mechanism. The arms are just okay. The adjustment ranges are good, but the arm caps are pretty firm and certainly not up to the same level of comfort that the previous models offer. My biggest complaint with the Lino is that there is really nothing special about the chair. That would be fine for most chairs, but this is a Herman Miller. The Lino doesn't have any advanced technologies or a unique design. It is just an average ergonomic chair from a really high-end brand. With how expensive the chair has gotten, I would tend to lean in a different direction than the Lino. The Sayl is the next lower-priced option, again in quotes, because the chair is now around $1,000 when you get it fully loaded. Unlike the Lino, which feels and looks like a pretty plain chair, the Sayl is very unique because of its backrest design. Based on the look of the Golden Gate Bridge, the Sayl back is designed in a way to be extremely flexible but also supportive. I was initially skeptical of the rubber-like backrest material, but I found it to be really comfortable. It's not hard plastic, and it is so flexible that it really conforms to my back. The one major hurdle with the Sayl is its back height. It works great for me at 5'9", but the shorter design may be a problem for taller people. The seat doesn't have any wow factors, but I also didn't find anything that I didn't like about it either. It's a thinner seat pad, but I found it to be comfortable. It has a very open design, and the seat slider is nice for dialing in that correct ergonomic position. I also like the arms. You get 4-way adjustment with nice ranges on all of them. The pads are decent in size and have a bit of squish to them. I found them to be very comfortable and definitely one of the highlights of the chair. The recline is similar to the Lino. It has a really high-end synchro tilt motion with a responsive tilt tension control and multiple tilt limiter positions. I think the one thing that really separates the Sayl from the Lino is the overall look of the chair. It is very unique, looks high-end, and feels much more like a Herman Miller designed chair. The Cosm is the most recent Herman Miller chair I've had an opportunity to use. I really wish we had ordered the fully adjustable arms instead of buying into the hype of the leaf arms, because for me, they completely ruin the chair. Having my arms or elbows directly against the mesh was really uncomfortable. I found that it would literally rub my skin off, and with zero adjustment, I found them to be impossible to use when tasking. I think these arms are purely for looks in a really high-end home office or a conference room where people will only be seated for a very short amount of time, any other application, just go with the fully adjustable arm package. Had we gone with the fully adjustable arms, this would probably be one of my favorite Herman Miller chairs. The design and look of the chair is amazing. The dipped in color feel where the entire chair is one uniform color looks super clean. I also like the auto harmonic tilt recline feature. It feels similar to the Aeron Embody, but without the tension or the locking positions. I do think a tension control would be nice just because the chair kind of forces you into one specific position, but that's kind of the point of the chair, and I do find that aspect to be comfortable. The seat may be a bit of a limiting factor for some. It's not as deep as I would prefer, and I'm not a super tall person, so anyone taller than me may have issues with proper leg support. It also has hard edges like most mesh chairs do, which is another thing to consider. For me, the highlight of the chair is the backrest. I like how it is connected all the way to the seat, creating this almost hammock-like feel. I think it is really unique, and the sitting experience offers something I've not found on any other office chair. The curve of the back is perfect for my taste. It provides a good amount of support, but it is not intrusive. I found the mesh to be very flexible and supportive, and I also like the headrest for those times when I need to kick back and hang out for a few minutes. Not impressed with the Herman Miller lineup, but still looking for a high-end chair? Check out our video on Steelcase.